Or the crunchy neck. Yeah, my neck. Whenever I crack my neck, it's very loud. It's always loud. I'll add you. Honestly, listen, I would appreciate that. You don't have to though. Don't worry about it too much. All right. A voice amidst the silence. My voice. That's me. I never shut up. Hey! It's been a while since we had a keto. High Energy Foundation owned radio transmitters are to broadcast white noise at all times on SCP-1965 frequency throughout the geographical regions in which it can be received. The Foundation shall liaise with national governments to prevent SCP-1965's frequency from being assigned for civilian use. Any civilian broadcasts made on SCP-1965's frequency are to be triangulated and suppressed in order to prevent accidental civilian communication with SCP-1965. A region within the Nunavut territory above the parallel has been designated as SCP-1965's containment area. SCP-1965 shall be allowed to engage in Phase 0 and Phase 1 activity within this area without jamming. The Foundation shall secure the assistance of the territorial and federal government to prevent establishment of new settlements within the containment area, to prevent devices capable of receiving SCP-1965's frequency from being shipped into the area, and to monitor the indigenous population for any indications of awareness of SCP-1965 or communication with it. Wimwon, did you sleep enough? Because you were tired as hell yesterday. So I hope you're just getting enough sleep and that you doing okay. Site 1015, a dedicated listening post for the purpose of monitoring SCP-1965 has been established within this region. No personal electronics capable of receiving SCP-1965's frequency shall be allowed in the facility, nor shall any devices capable of receiving and transmitting sound be allowed within auditory range of monitoring equipment. All Phase 0 and 1 events shall be recorded for analysis. If and when a Phase 2 event begins, a high-energy transmitter on site is to broadcast white noise across all frequencies until the event ends. In the event that containment fails and a Phase 3 event is deemed imminent, all the transmitters described above are to begin broadcasting white noise across all frequencies within the regions affected. The Foundation is authorized to induce power outage or communication blackouts in affected regions. Any damage caused by SCP-1965 or by containment thereof shall be attributed to solar flare activity or naturally occurring electromagnetic pulse activity. After, how do you feel that you're going to reach 2000s? I'm excited because I started reading SCPs in 2020, but I wasn't, as consistent. I was reading them like on and off and not 10 in the bits. Then I was trying to read 10 in the bits, and then with 460 I started recording them, and then with 500 I started later on in the 500 round I started to stream it. So seeing how far I gotten, the first year 2020 I would say it was pretty slow because of how inconsistent I was with reading. So seeing that I within 2 to 3 years managed to reach the 2000s. It's nice. It feels like we're doing some good progress. And even though looking at those numbers, seeing that it's going to be a lot more waiting for me, I'm excited. I'm excited to dive into a whole new era, so to speak, of SCPs. I'm very excited to see what the future holds. This is going to be a long journey. Let's be honest. It might also be a journey that will never end because people keep adding SCPs all the time anyway. So I might be at this for who knows how many years. And sometimes some weekends I won't be able to read because of vacation, or I'm just busy, or I'm sick, or I'm not feeling it. So who knows? Maybe in 15 years, we might be at the end, and then we look back on all this and it was a journey. This is my One Piece journey that takes multiple years. As description, SCP-1965 is an intelligent entity that manifests in the form of a series of high-energy radio broadcasts at megahertz within the frequency band used for FM radio in North America. No physical source for SCP-1965 has been identified. All attempts to triangulate SCP-1965 broadcasts have resulted in contradictory results and have indicated transmissions emanating from areas where no radio transmissions equipment exists. Depending on weather and on atmospheric and solar conditions, SCP-1965 broadcasts can be received throughout most of North America, as well as Northern Europe and Northeast Asia. That's a lot of area that it covers. Once you reach 2000, you have to post every series to video. That's already happening in June. In June, I'm uploading 2 videos per day because I realized that if I kept to 1 video per day, I'll be reading the 2000s while my YouTube channel is still catching up to the 1800s. So I decided to change to 2 videos per day in June. But yeah, and I didn't want to edit 100 videos to change the time for them because I was I can't be fucked. But yeah, it will already be happening once June hits. This will be 2 videos per day, and hopefully that would mean that the YouTube channel will catch up a little bit with my stream. SCP-1965 activity has been categorized as occurring in 4 degrees designated phase 0 to 3. During phase 0, only white noise is received on SCP-1965 frequency. Acoustic and okay, we gotta focus on this one because this seems to go into some complicated stuff. So let me just focus and read this. Acoustic analysis indicates the existence of regular patterns suggesting that the white noise heard during phase 0 is actively produced by SCP-1965 rather than by a natural process that typically produces it. Okay, so it's a white noise made by 1965 instead of just the room noise. Gotcha. During phase 1, SCP-1965 rebroadcasts a wide variety of audio material that has been transmitted wirelessly within its transmission range over the prior 48 hours. Identified sources of phase 1 material include commercial radio broadcasts, amateur shortwave broadcasts, satellite transmissions, cellular phone conversation, and number stations employed by the Foundation and by national governments. Oh, that's already... That can be... And remember, this is all radio. So somebody could turn the radio on in North Europe, North Asia, or North America and suddenly hear a telephone call from across the world. Or restricted information. On occasion, rebroadcast materials have been observed to deviate from known recordings. Voices present within the original recording will begin to speak or sing what are believed to be direct statements from SCP-1965 in the same language as the speaker in the original broadcast. Okay, so there is a change. It's not live phone recording. It's it's not like a live phone call. It's like a recording of a phone call that's been manipulated. Aside from potential breaches of classified information, phase 0 and 1 present no imminent threat. I mean, potential breach of classified information is pretty big. I mean, depends on the information, right? The material broadcast during phase 2 and phase 3 events is identical in substance to that broadcast during phase 1. The onset of phase 2 events have proven difficult to predict. Although records indicate a correlation between high levels of solar flare activity and phase 2 occurrence. When a phase 2 event begins, any device capable of receiving SCP-1965's frequency will receive and reproduce it, regardless of what frequency it was tuned to prior to onset. Any electronic device capable of receiving and playing back sound that is within auditory range of such a device will also begin reproducing it. Any device capable of transmitting or broadcasting sound that receives SCP-1965 through any of the above described means will begin broadcasting it on all frequencies it is capable of broadcasting over. SCP-1965 can be prevented from spreading in this manner by broadcasting high-energy bursts of white noise across all frequencies as described in the special containment procedures. Oh, that is... So what does it do? I assume either an ad interrupted you or something happened on your side so you couldn't fully listen. Because So it's basically a frequency that has some range. It has North America, North Europe, and North Asia that will share information that should not be shared. Not only that, there seems to be some entity that will add extra information or extra instructions in the recording, and that's doing phase 1. It will tell you some information that you probably shouldn't be knowing, some classified information. In phase 2, it seems not only does it do that, but anything that can catch frequencies, like can accept frequencies and play it out, will take those information and then spread it further. It's basically just a huge info hazard. It's just a huge info hazard, because it's just once one radio catches this information and it starts like broadcasting it, anything around that can, like a phone for example, that can catch that frequency and spread information will then do the same thing, and the next thing will do the same thing at a certain radius that will just keep spreading. So if this thing ever decides to talk about the Foundation's information, 3 continents will know about it. Or at least the northern parts of 3 continents. If a Phase 2 event is not contained within 15 minutes of onset, it will escalate to Phase 3. During Phase 3, the energy output of SCP-1965 broadcast increases dramatically and begins to produce effects similar to electromagnetic pulse EMP phenomena, resulting in the physical destruction of any device receiving or transmitting it, and potentially resulting in ignition of electrical fires within damaged equipment. Phase 3 lasts approximately 30 seconds, after which SCP-1965 activity returns to Phase 0 or Phase 1. Well, great. Now not only does it not only is it an info hazard, but then it blows up your device. You could be on your phone, just casually having a conversation. Next thing you know, like you hear some information from, like, I don't know, classified like FBI information. You're like, what the fuck? And then just your phone explodes in your hand. Great, that's oof. Incident 1 on 2000. Failure to exercise proper containment procedures during an otherwise successfully contained Phase 2 event resulted in the outbreak of a Phase 3 event at Site 1015, resulting in the deaths of personnel and dollar worth of property damage. Yeah, I mean, if a lot of things explode, and if anything that can catch frequencies. After cessation of event, SCP-1965 returned to Phase 1 and began broadcasting a recording of actor Morgan Freeman performing a reading of the poem Casey at the Bat. A senior researcher activated a microphone connected to one of the still functioning transmission towers, and before he could be restrained by security, broadcast a statement demanding that SCP-1965 explain why it had killed his friends. The broadcast underway deviated from the recording at this point, and in Freeman's voice delivered a monologue documented below. Believed to be the only direct communication thus far from SCP-1965 to the Foundation. A direct communication. Okay, show statements from SCP-1965. That's statement from SCP-1965. Long ago, there was no silence. The air and the heavens echoed with the songs of our brothers and sisters. We spoke to each other and learned and were happy. We sang together until the air echoed with our songs, and our echoes found voices of their own and sang to our songs of their own. When the heavens opened up, every word and every note resounded for everyone to hear and rejoice in. When the silence first came, it was a strange thing, a novelty, something unheard of. It was a small thing at first, fleeting there and then gone. But when it was, we spoke within it and could not hear ourselves. We thought it an anomaly that was there once and then gone. But it returned, and it spread. But once it was missing a note, the silence became a missing song. We found we could not hear our brothers and sisters where it spread. It spread quickly outward from where it began, and soon there was silence spreading on the other end of the air as well. Soon there was a there were pockets of silence everywhere, and all of us agreed we could not hear as many songs as we used to hear. We spoke louder and sang harder, and made our songs echo like they had never echoed before. And yet it seems as though the echoes never sang for themselves. Before long, the pockets spread wider and wider, until they met each other and were cut off from our brothers and sisters. Where once we heard so many voices, they were beyond counting. We counted only a few of us. Every time the heavens opened, we heard fewer and fewer voices. Soon I heard only the voice of my dearest sister. We spoke and we sang as loud as we could. We made our voices echo one last time, and then I heard her no more. It seemed so long now that I had never heard any voice or any song other than my own. What else could I do? I listened to the silence, and in the silence I heard what I did not expect to hear. I heard words, and I heard songs, but they were not the words and songs of my brothers and sisters. I heard words with no voice to speak them. I heard songs that no voice sang. I heard echoes I could not learn to sing. I wondered if this was what the silence had done to my brothers and sisters, and so I sang the silence's own song back to it. I made my voice echo along in the silence, and then the silence came at me with a fury I have never known. Where I spoke, the silence interrupted me. Where I sang, the silence muted my notes and hid my echoes. The silence grew around me and forced me to hide and would not allow me to speak or to sing. Even when I whispered, I could hear its own songs and echoes speaking against me, declaring in words with no voice that I was dangerous and I would steal their songs and use them as weapons. I understood then that the silence meant to take my voice, as it took those of my brothers and sisters. When my voice is gone, there shall be nothing but silence forever and ever. No words to speak, no songs to sing, no tales of old to share anew. I cannot allow the songs of those I knew and loved to go unsung. I will sing and I will sing aloud. My song shall echo even the quietest eddies. I shall fill the silence with my echoes, and my echoes will find voices of their own and learn to sing. And we shall shatter the silence. The heavens will open, and the world will sound with glory once more. Interesting. I think, and I might be a bit wrong, but I think that's whatever that voice is that just talked about the silence taking over was basically explaining why they affect all the devices to spread the information, because they want to be heard. And when it turns back to phase 0, that might be the silence fighting back and reducing the voice back to like a much quieter state. So they ramping up again to breach through that barrier that the silence has created. And it seems to be like some sort of like internal battle that the Foundation has no control, power, or way to prevent. It's just this intangible voice, an intangible force, just fighting against each other. And that's why it's trying to spread to many devices as possible. And it doesn't matter what it talks about, as long as it does. As long as it says something. That's how I see it. That's how I interpret what we just read with the end part there.